ಓಕೆ ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನು ತಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಇದನ್ನು ತಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಎವ್ರಿ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಕಾಂಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್. ಓಕೆ, every text has its context. The contextuality of the text depends on the capacity of the interpreter. The capacity of the interpreter. Yes. We have two important words. Of course, you can take even author on the other side. Three angles are there for this discussion. Okay, first thing, you should not forget while discussing all these essays, you should not forget that this is linguistic approach to literature. This is the linguistic approach to the literature. What was the necessity that made to accept linguistics seriously? Question number 2. Somebody may ask, text was there, Shakespeare was there, Wordsworth was there, Milton was there, the reading was already done, lot of criticism has come out, then why you are reading once again from linguistic point of view? The answer is very simple. When you apply a new theory to a fixed text, the interpretation of the text changes. Okay, we read the literature earlier with the theories of the I. Richards, with the very critical view of T.S. Eliot, like tradition and individual talent, or we rather studied it as a Kavya Vimamsa made in lyrical ballads by two important poets like William Wordsworth and Coleridge. So these were, and afterwards I told you psychological certain developments, certain theories developed in the field of science like psychology. They also changed the interpretation of the text. So finally the critics the thinkers came to the conclusion that it has another angle also. This also is possible. What was the possibility? What was their curiosity? What was their search? The search was, let us see the text, any text, from mere linguistic point of view. When we watch it, when we study it, when we read the particular text from a linguistic point of view, what result will come out? That was the curiosity. Okay, so in order to extend, or in order to understand the place of the language in constructing meaning, ಓಕೆ, ನಾನು ಹೇಳೋದು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅರ್ಥವನ್ನು ಕಟ್ಟುವುದರಲ್ಲಿ, ಒಂದು ಕೃತಿಯ ಅರ್ಥವನ್ನು ಕಟ್ಟುವುದರಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಷೆಯ ಪಾತ್ರ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ನೋಡುವುದು ಲಿಂಗ್ವಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಅಪ್ರೋಚಿನ ಮೊಟ್ಟ ಮೊದಲ ಗುರಿ. ಅಥವಾ ಎಲ್ಲ ಭಾಷಾ ತಜ್ಞರ ಉದ್ದೇಶ. ನೀವು ಕೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, what was ultimate aim of the Roland Barthes? The ultimate aim is this much, that they want to know whether the text is independent or dependent, whether meaning is independent or dependent. If at all it is dependent, to what percentage it is dependent? Okay, whether meaning is the meaning of the text depends on characters, plot, theme, etc. and etc. Okay, so ಈ ಥರದ ಒಂದು ಹೊಸ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಒಟ್ಟು ಭಾಷಾಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಜ್ಞರ, ರಚನಾವಾದಿಗಳ, ಸಂರಚನಾವಾದಿಗಳ ಮುಂದಿರುವ ಬಹಳ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಈಗ already we have completed one important argument of Roland Barthes in our last discussion. What was that? No. The first that was the influence of the Einstein, Darwin, Einstein, Freud, and one more thinker. Can you mention the name of the Marxism, Freudism, and Einsteinism. The first argument of Roland Barthes in his work to text is glorification of an author, okay, or identifying a particular literature as superior is wrong, okay. And his further he continues that we have to see, ಅವ್ರೇನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯಿಕ ಕೃತಿಗಳನ್ನು ಅವುಗಳ ಚಾರಿತ್ರಿಕ ಸಂದರ್ಭಗಳಿಂದ ಮೇಲಿಂದ ಒಳಗಿನ ಮತ್ತು ಉಳಿದವು ಹೊರಗುಳಿಯುವು. ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ರೆ, ಈಗ ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗೆ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯು ಸೇ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ 19th century ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಕೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಇನ್ ಮೈ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ. I will ask the question, can you talk something about 19th century? Or will you tell me something about the romantic poetry? Then what will you say? There are two classes of romantic poetry. The first group of the romantic poets were considered as the early group of the romantic poets, and it involves William Wordsworth and S.T. Coleridge. The second generation of romantic poets involves John Keats, Shelley, and Byron. What Roland Barthes is saying, this is wrong approach and study of literature. Okay, this study is already fixed. This text is already fixed. By doing this, you are keeping certain writers like Burns out of the total tradition. ನಾನು ಹೇಳೋದು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಯುಗಗಳ ಡಿಕ್ಲರೇಷನ್ ಇದಲ್ಲ, ಪಂಪಯುಗ, ಬೇಂದ್ರೆ ಯುಗ, ಕುವೆಂಪು ಯುಗ, ಈ ಥರನಾಗಿ ನೀವು ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯವನ್ನು ಗುರುತಿಸುವುದರಿಂದ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಮಹತ್ವದ ಇನ್ನುಳಿದ ಪ್ರತಿಭೆಗಳನ್ನು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಇಡ್ತೀರಿ, ಅರ್ಥಗಳನ್ನು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಇಡ್ತೀರಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆಫ್ ಎನಿ ಲಿಟ್ರೇಚರ್ ವಿತ್ ಆಲ್ ದಿ ಸೂಪರ್ಲೇಟಿವ್ ಡಿಗ್ರೀಸ್ ಈಸ್ ರಾಂಗ್. Got the point? This is the first. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ನೀವು ಆ ಲೇಖಕನನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಗಂಭೀರವಾಗಿ ಆ ಕಾಂಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಟು ನೋಡಬೇಕು. ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಈವನ್ ದ ಮೈನರ್ ರೈಟರ್ ಇನ್ ಎ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕಾಂಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್. Okay, in a particular context seriously. Then you may sometimes you may come with even better meanings compared to the major writer. ನಿನ್ನೆ ಬಹಳ ಚಂದ ಒಂದು ಮಾತನ್ನು ಓದಿದೆ ನಾನು. ಓಕೆ, it is a statement made by Leo Tolstoy. What he says, I don't accept any French thinker, German thinkers or the novelist as the greatest writers of the world ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಈಗ ನಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, ಬೌದಿಲೇರ್, ಚಾರ್ಲ್ಸ್ ಬೌದಿಲೇರ್. ದ ಮೂಮೆಂಟ್ ವೆನ್ ಐ ಸೇ ಚಾರ್ಲ್ಸ್ ಬೌದಿಲೇರ್, ನೀವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಬಂದು ಆನ್ಸರ್ನ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕೂತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಓಹ್, ಚಾರ್ಲ್ಸ್ ಬೌದಿಲೇರ್, ದ ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್ ರೈಟರ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್. ಓಕೆ, ಈ ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್ ರೈಟರ್ ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್ ರೈಟರ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಕಳೆದ 40 ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ 50 ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ 100 ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ ನನ್ನಂಥವರಿಂದ ನಿಮ್ಮಂಥವರಿಂದ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆಯಾಗಿದೆ. ಯು ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ವಾಟ್ ವೇ ಚಾರ್ಲ್ಸ್ ಬೌದಿಲೇರ್ is the greatest writer. What is his contribution to the life and literature? Why I should read? And what is the contextuality? And what is the relevance of reading Baudelaire right now? All these questions will be just kept outside if you never try to new meanings of the text. ಒಂದು ಕೃತಿಯ ಹೊಸ ಅರ್ಥ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆಗಳನ್ನು ಹುಡುಕುವ ಸಾಹಸವನ್ನು ನೀವು ಮಾಡದೇ ಹೋದರೆ ನೀವು ಒಬ್ಬ ಲೇಖಕನನ್ನು, ಕೃತಿಯ ಅರ್ಥವನ್ನು ಕೊಲ್ಲುತ್ತೀರಿ. ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರಲಿಸಮ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಇದು. ಯಾವುದು ಹೀಗೆ ಅಲಕ್ಷ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ, ನಿರ್ಲಕ್ಷ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ವಿನಾಕಾರಣ ಒಳಪಟ್ಟಿದೆಯೋ ಅದನ್ನು ಓದಿ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಔಟ್ಸೈಡರ್ the novel like Outsider, Franz Kafka's Metamorphosis, or it may be the poetry of Charles Baudelaire. According to Leo Tolstoy, all these writings were unnecessarily highlighted. All these writers were unnecessarily respected. They were given respect more than they deserve. Okay, this may be the case in case of any literature of the world. Maybe Kannada, maybe Marathi, maybe Gujarati. ಅಲ್ವಾ ನಾವು ಕೆಲವು ಲೇಖಕರನ್ನ ಕೃತಿಗಳನ್ನ ಅರ್ಥವಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಅರ್ಥಗಳನ್ನು ಕೊಂಡುಕೊಂಡು ಹತ್ತಿಸ್ತಾನೇ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಇನ್ನು ಕೆಲವು ಲೇಖಕರಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಅರ್ಥ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆಗಳಿದ್ದು ಅವರನ್ನು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಇದು ಮೊಟ್ಟ ಮೊದಲನೇ ವಾದ ರೋಲಾನ್ ಬಾರ್ತ್. ಓಕೆ, ಟುಡೇ we will try to understand the second important argument of Roland Barthes. In this work to text, this is second important comment of Roland Barthes. What is that? Okay. ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ? Classification of the writers. Classification of the text, okay, is totally wrong. What we say, senior writers, junior writers, first-hand writers, second-hand writers, major writers, minor writers, all this is wrong classification. For your kind information, there is a book existing in Indian writings in English in India. The author of this book is Mr. M.K. Naik. M.K. Naik is not from America or England. He is a Kannadiga. He has written, and even today, this is the only authentic book, authentic source on Indian writings in English. Okay? ಭಾರತೀಯ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯವನ್ನು ಕುರಿತು ಇರುವ ಏಕೈಕ ಚಾರಿತ್ರಿಕ ಪುಸ್ತಕ was by M.K. Naik. Is by Mr. M.K. Naik. What is the thing that I didn't like in this book? Is that just go through the preface of the book or the index of the book. What he has done, he has classified the authors. How he classifies? Major Indian novelists. Major Indian novelists. Who are they? R.K. Narayan, Mulk Raj Anand, Anandra, okay, and all the Bhavani Bhattacharya, all this. Another author, one who has written Kantapura and some other novels. They are all Rajarao. All these are major Indian Muslim novelists. Novelists. Major Indian novelists. This is one chapter, and another chapter is minor Indian Muslim novelists. Is it not wrong? Whether they are minor novelists, whether they are minor novelists because they are Muslims, or another question is it possible to divide the author as major and minor? If at all you are classifying, on what base you are classifying it? Is it the number of the text? Is it the quantity of the literature produced? What is the hallmark? What was the criteria of dividing, making this classification? For example, there is a writer in Marathi. He is by name Jnanadeva. What he has written? His only contribution is Jnaneshwari. There is a writer there was a writer in Iran by name Tabriz, Shahmed Tabriz. He has written only 40 lines, 40 statements. He lived in Khoi of Iran in 11th century. But even today, it is considered as one of the best productions of the Persian literature. So, Roland Barthes is rejecting another important practice of literature, that is classification of a text. Okay.